Today we are working Psalm 137. In traditional psalm magic, Psalm 137 is used to be cleansed of malice, to overcome destructive thinking and destructive actions. And I would like to use Psalm 137 to overcome confusion. So anytime you're in a state of confusion, you don't understand things seem to be something other than what they are, this is a great psalm to come to for that. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm that we're working and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This recitation is commonly called an incantation. After we've finished our incantation, we go back through that psalm and we consider each verse one at a time. We look for hidden or occult meanings that lie behind each verse by considering, digging, and searching for those meanings and doing our best to apply them to whatever the situation is that we brought to the psalm. We are taking those seeds of magic and planting them in our minds, where they take root. They grow, they blossom forth, and then they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm 137. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, Raise it even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. When we're working in regards to confusion, we're looking at Babylon as representing confusion. How is Babylon a representation of confusion? It represents the world of the senses. The senses confuse us because they don't necessarily represent the thoughts of the infinite. When we look to the world for our salvation, we look to the world for the answers, we are looking into a world of confusion. We have to understand that the world is a world of effects. So if we're not experiencing peace and contentment and joy in the world, it's because the world is reflecting those thoughts. And so we can't look to the world to bring us the salvation from this experience. We have to look to the world of cause. And then it says, Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. Now, let's be really clear, too, that this psalm is in the setting of an exiled people. The Babylonians in the story came and destroyed the temple, destroyed Zion, captured those people, and brought them into Babylon, into exile. Nobody was able to stay at the temple. Nobody was able to remain in their place of worship. Confusion is causing us to be exiled from Zion. What's Zion? Zion is the place where we and the infinite meet. If you think about who we are as souls, we can think in terms of a sunbeam coming from the sun. That place where the sunbeam and the sun connect, that's Zion. And when we are at the effect of Babylon, at the effect of disordered or confused thinking based on the idea of believing that the sense world is the real world, then it's as if our connection to that source doesn't exist. Of course it does exist, but it doesn't exist in our experience because we've used our minds in a way that's destructive to us. We've used our minds to believe that we could be exiled from Zion, that we could be exiled from the temple, that we could be separated from our source. Anytime you're believing that you're separated from your source, you're in a state of confusion and in a state of fear. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. These were a bardic people. They would sing and they would play their harps. Think of the bards of the Druids as something very similar. And the Romans came in and they held them captive and made them exiled. There's many different stories of this kind of thing going on. But whether you're thinking of the bards of the Druids or these ancient Israelites, they would play their harps and sing their songs. And once they're in exile, they have to hang their harps up because they can't sing outside of the temple. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion. What happens to us is that we get very confused. We believe in things that are of the sensual world. We believe that we are separated from our source, that we are no longer part of Zion, that we are no longer part of the temple. And the world that is our captor is saying, so sing to us, entertain us, make it worth our while. How many times do you tap dance for the powers that be outside of you? That's a road to nowhere. And we all know that. You can't sing sacred songs in Babylon. You can't expect the world of the senses to be placated to a point where you can reconnect to the infinite, because you can't find the infinite in the world of the senses. The world of the senses is a world of reflection. You have to go within to find your connection to the infinite. And until you find that connection to the infinite, you have to hang your harp up, because your desire to please the sensual world is never going to work for you. It's never going to work. You're never going to get what you want. All you're going to get is farther and farther away from your goal whenever you try to please the world of the senses. Maybe just a little more sex, maybe just a little more food, maybe just a little more drugs, a little more booze, something. If I can just keep it up and make sure that I find some kind of mirth, some sort of joy in the physical world, that's how I will find my way back to my connection. Never works that way. How shall we sing the Lord's songs in a strange land? That's a great rhetorical question. How am I supposed to experience that celebration of my oneness with the infinite when I am committed to experiencing reality as if it's happening in the world of the senses rather than in the world of cause? Until I can get my mind back on track to understand that nobody can defile the temple. It's impossible for anybody to make me exiled from my source. That's what the ego mind does. The ego mind convinces us that we can be exiled. The ego mind convinces us that we can be separate, trying to convince us to the extent that we look to the world for our salvation rather than recognizing that the world doesn't exist in the way we think it does. So that's why the ego is a constant bully, a constant distractor, constant destroyer. Until we relinquish our need for ego gratification, ego reinforcement, we're always going to get the same results. Trying to look to the ego to find peace is a losing game. Trying to look to the ego to bring satisfaction to our lives is a losing game, because the ego's programmed to prove to you that you're separate, that you're in exile, that you have no connection to the infinite. You and your source don't exist. You might have in the past, but you don't anymore. And to the extent that you believe that, you are stuck in exile. And until you hang up your harp and say, I'm not singing for you. I'm not singing for the ego. I'm not playing your game. I'm not doing that. Until you're willing to do that, you can't find your way back home. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. Now, Jerusalem represents peace. That's your peace of mind. Jerusalem literally translates into city of peace. When you're looking to the world for your salvation, you are by definition in a place of stress, in a place of tension. And when you're in a place of stress and in a place of tension, you are not in a place where you understand your connection to the infinite. Now it's saying that I'm not going to do that here. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. Then it says, if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth, if I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. I don't want to do anything, that's your right hand, and I don't want to say anything, that's what you speak. I don't want to sing, I don't want to speak, I don't want to do. I don't want to play my harp, I don't want to do anything until I recognize that my only goal is peace. If my first goal is peace, or it says Jerusalem here, if my first goal is peace, then everything that comes out of that is going to lead me back to my connection to the infinite. I don't want to do or say anything until I get very clear that my goal is peace. Because peace, as we say, is a package deal. That's what Jesus meant when in that New Testament phrase where he said, seek first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will come. Because when you seek for heaven, that simply means your peace of mind. So when your peace of mind is your first priority, all the other stuff is a part of that. The money that you need, the health that you need, the relationships that you need, the whatever it is, whatever is causing you confusion right now is wiped away when peace is your goal. So remember that with peace comes everything I want. So that's what is meant by Jerusalem, your peace of mind. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even unto the foundation thereof. See, the Edomites started out as Israelites. And then because of that whole story with Esau, they turned their back on Israel. They turned their back on that, and they became an enemy of that country. And so that's what it's talking about here when it says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it even to the foundation thereof. That's our own creative mind being turned against us to destroy us. That's what the ego is. The ego is not a creature. It's not an entity out there. It's our own creativity that we're using against ourselves. We're deciding against ourselves. Anytime we are experiencing this pain, this confusion, this misunderstanding, all of these things in our lives that seem like we are disconnected from our source, it's because we are deciding against ourselves. And now we're saying, I don't want to decide against myself, but I don't know how to decide for myself. So I have to ask infinite intelligence to do it for me. Remember, O Lord, the children of Eden in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even unto the foundation thereof. Remember that this is not my will. I got lost in here. I got lost in this mad, crazy idea of trying to be separate from you. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. The daughter of Babylon is a representation of the thoughts that beget other thoughts, that beget other thoughts, that beget other thoughts, the contagion that is the ego. The daughter of Babylon then has more children and has more children. It seems like there's no way out of it because the ego grows and grows and grows and your separation grows and grows and grows. And what we're saying here is, wait a minute, daughter of Babylon who art to be destroyed. So we've already decided that the mother of all that is to come in regards to this confusion is to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. So to the degree that you're trying to separate me from my good is the degree to which you will be destroyed. It all comes back on you. Whatever you're trying to do to my mind, it's going to destroy you. The ego destroys itself. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. It's not talking about children. It's not talking about real little children, not the sense that we understand it, not in a magical sense. It's talking about the offspring of your ego. It's the thoughts that contribute to your experience of separation from your good. Dash those against a stone. We want those to be destroyed. We need those to be destroyed because they aren't real. They're not really the truth. Everything that's coming out of whatever this Babylonian experience is that you're going through is not real. It's not true. But the nightmare is so grave that you're in misery. And so what we're trying to do here is to cut off our experience of what the ego is trying to do to us, and that is to give us this idea that we are completely separated from our good, and to allow infinite intelligence to rethink it for us, because we've gone so far down that rabbit hole, we don't have any idea of how to get back out. So, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. It's a very dramatic way of saying all of these thoughts that aren't real, I just let them be destroyed. Let them go away. Let me wake up to the truth that I am at one with you, that I am safe, and that all is well, because I'm no longer experiencing confusion, because my first goal, as we said earlier, is peace. And I'm not going to forget peace. If I remember peace as being my goal, everything works out for me. And once I know that's my goal, I don't have to know how to get that, because infinite intelligence does know. But as we always say, it's your free will. It's not like infinite intelligence is going to say, you will have peace. It's not going to do that for you. You have to want peace. And once you want that peace and you want to have that rift healed, infinite intelligence is very happy to do that for you. So you just keep coming back to this psalm each and every day until you get a sense of certainty and peace about the situation that you came to the psalm with. And once you get that sense, you know that your spell has taken and you don't have to work on it anymore. You can go do something else. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Until next time, blessed be.